Hi everyone, welcome to Just on Tarot. We're trying something different today. We're trying to work on this lighting. Still working in my office, but that's alright. This is going to be for all signs. Please take what resonates, leave the rest. Remember, try not to make your story fit in any way, shape, or form. This is for Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus signs, so please check your other signs. If you would like to like, share, subscribe, that would be great. If not, that's okay too. So, we're going to start off with Aries, beautiful zodiac sign of Aries. We're going to kind of see where we're working, what we need to work on. We're also going to do love and money at the end. So, see what we got. Alright, for Aries, what do we need to work on for Aries? Going into the week of the 20th. Alright, what are we going for Aries? Zodiac sign of Aries. Alright. Okay. See what we got. Alright, reflection, overthinking. So maybe we're in our head a little bit, okay? We got physical pain, emotional pain. Maybe we're dealing with something that was painful, that ended painfully. And we're kind of taking the time to reflect on it. But we got to remember that we shouldn't be overthinking a situation. You know, you get stuck in your head, you're not sure what to do, why things went wrong, whatever the situations could be, work, love, anything along that lines. And with physical pain, emotional pain, that could be, you know, maybe you're dealing with some kind of illness and you're like, why me? Why am I dealing with this? Could just be the emotional pain of like just struggling through and reflecting on how to change things. You know, maybe you're stuck in your head a little too much about it. Alright, let's see what the tarot has to tell us. Alright, for the beautiful Aries, what do we have for Aries? What's our challenge today? What's our challenge this week? Alright, one more. Go. What's our challenge? I do ask you to bear with me. I'm still working on this lighting situation. Alright. What do we have for Aries? One more shuffle. There we go. I can grab it. 7 of Wands with the 8 of Wands. A lot of wands. And the moon. I hope you guys can see this. Alright. With the 5 of Wands on the back and the 7 of Cups. Alright. So with the 7 of Wands here, and definitely with this reflection and physical emotional pain, maybe you feel like something's been deceptive. Somebody's lying to you, or maybe you're not really believing yourself, you're not believing in yourself, and you're kind of moving towards the energy of that fear with the moon card at the end. You know, you're dealing with a lot of conflict, maybe there's multiple different options on where to go, how to deal with situations, the 5 of Wands and the 7 of Cups back here. You know, I said deception, maybe somebody's dealing with deception, but, you know, 7 of Wands here is more about being guarded. Sorry, guys. It's just the thought process I was going into. But maybe standing your ground, moving past something, but kind of still stuck in that, I don't know which direction to turn. How am I going? I can't see past this. Kind of those horizons unknown type of a little over in your head with that overthinking and the moon card here. But maybe it's time to let down your guard a little bit, or put up your guard. Move forward is what this 8 of Wands is telling you. You know, embrace what you don't know. You know, I feel like you need to challenge yourself. The 5 of Wands in here, you know, I feel like maybe look at other options on how you can deal with conflict, or how you can move past whatever conflict you had, whether you had internal, external, whatever your situation is. But you're definitely kind of guarded, kind of just chugging through the unknown at the moment. Maybe looking back a little bit, thinking about certain situations, how things could have been different. Oh, I like that. If you guys are looking for a love message, we'll get that for you now. I feel like Spirit's telling you to just move forward. Just keep moving forward. Embrace what you don't see coming. You know, focus on maybe better ways to handle conflict, but be resilient in a way. And hopefully if you are suffering from physical pain, you know, maybe, or if there's something going on that you're not quite sure of, it's okay to kind of sit and think about it, reflect on it. Alright, what do we have for Aries love messages? Alright. Beautiful Aries. What do we have for Aries? Pick one. Alignment. Okay. Like a cosmic match made in heaven, we are magically aligned. We fit together naturally. Okay, so maybe you're trying to figure out where that alignment is, how everything can fit, how everything works together. Being a little guarded about it, but still moving forward, I feel like. Alright. For those of you who are interested in money, career, what do we have for money and career? Money and career. Ooh. Impatience. It takes time to build an empire. Your desire for instant results can hinder your ability to make new decisions. Maybe that's what we're talking about with the Five of Wands and the Seven of Cups back here, is you're having an internal struggle in which direction you want to. Maybe you need to take a little time out to kind of figure out what you want, what you really need. All right, we're going to do one advice card. All right, what is the universe advice for you today? Pick one. Ooh, saying get out of your head, okay? Get out of your head. Stop overthinking. All right, that's what I have for you, beautiful Aries. Lovely creatures. All right. It's always going to take me a minute to reset, so please give me patience. All right, moving on to Taurus. All right, what do we have for the beautiful Taurus? All right. What do we need to be working on for Taurus? Starting the week of 4/20. This month has flown by. I'm busy as a bee. Again, I apologize about the lighting. I will probably do that for every sign. Alright, what do we have for Taurus? What do we need to work on? The lovely sign of Taurus, the bulls, the most stubborn. Alright, what do we have for you? Alright, we have freedom, sacrifice with rejection and maturing. Okay, so maybe you had some kind of ending, you know, and it's making you feel free, but you're trying to figure out what you're sacrificing. Maybe you're making a decision about what you have to sacrifice to gain some freedom, and vice versa. It's either way. But with rejection and maturing on the bottom, I feel like this is more about also maybe there's an offer that came in that you were hoping for, and maybe it didn't work out the way you wanted to, and it's kind of showing you like maybe a different path how to grow from it. They always say rejection is protection. But maybe it's the universe's way of telling you that it's not your time to sacrifice right now. You know, there is other courses. Grow yourself. You know, focus on what's important with this freedom and sacrifice. Like, what are you willing to give to? What are you not willing to give to? With the Chariot, Cancerian energy over here. The Three of Swords and the Devil. Okay. My cards flipped around. Two of Swords. Feeling like you need to make a decision in some way, shape, or form. With the Six of Wands. Okay, I feel like this is everything kind of moving very, very fast for you. Okay, especially if there was a situation that really broke your heart, really kind of hurt you, put you in a bad spot. You know, you can always remove those swords if you'd like, but it was very quick, and I feel like it was kind of abrupt. You know, and maybe the way things weren't handled with this Devil card were very healthy. I feel very negative. Maybe you're kind of, that's what we got, that freedom and the sacrifice. Like, are you willing to give to a situation? Like, what are you willing to sacrifice? You know, this could be about you moving forward. You know, learning how to make a decision to get to some kind of victory in your life. You know, I feel like this is more about the choices that you are making for yourself. But I feel like you're moving very quick with this Chariot. It's a very beautiful card, by the way. And I thought these were bulls on here, but they're like blowing that steam. I don't know if you can see this card or not. I'm trying. There we go. You know, maybe you're starting to move out of some kind of, like, I think, mental hold on yourself. You're focusing on what caused you some pain, maybe spending some time in that self-reflection mode. But I feel like you're also kind of focusing on the negative aspects of it. You know, why can't I get this? Why can't I have this type of energy? You know, but you have Two of Swords on the back. You know, you can pick a direction for yourself. You don't have to be stuck in this mode. You know, trust yourself. Trust your judgment. You know, but I do feel like everything with this Six of Wands behind that is going to work out for it. For yourself. Whatever your situation is. Alright, what do we have for love? Alright, name one message for love for Taurus. Alright, what do we have for Taurus? Alright, what do we have for love? Okay, we have distance. Though we are experiencing life in different locations right now, we are still so connected all the time. And maybe that's what the universe is telling you, you know, with that freedom and that sacrifice, is maybe take some time for you. You know, really understand what you're willing to give in to. You know, you spend some time reflecting, and it does tend to help you mature. So maybe that's a thought you need to hear also. Alright. But with this Chariot, everything is going to start moving forward. You know, you might be going through a broken heart right now, but don't focus on the negative aspect of it. You can make a choice. That choice is yours here with the Two of Swords. I guess it decides on which decision you make. You can move into that victory, or you can kind of stay in this negative energy over here. All right, what do we have for money for Taurus? What do we have for money? There we go. 2 popped out, so we'll take them. Connection. A special connection will open doors for you on your path. It may be a partner or a mentor, a client, or a helpful friend. That sounds good. Entrepreneur. As an entrepreneur, you will truly have the opportunity to discover yourself and all potentials. So that's turning back to that reflection and that maturing, you know. The more you put that work into you, the more connections you're going to have, you know, and maybe put yourself in a very upstanding position. All right, I like that for you. All right, we're going to do one advice card. What do we have for Taurus? What do we have for Taurus? I just feel like fire-breathing dragon over this devil. The more you try to knock it out, the angrier it gets. Like, maybe we need to work on that. All right. What do we have for Taurus? One advice card, please. All right, one advice. Okay, King of Cups. Understanding your emotions. King of Cups understands their emotions. They know how they're feeling. They have a handle on things. They know which directions they're going, where to put the work and effort into, and where to hold back. So I feel like the universe is telling you to, you know, reflect into your emotions. You know, feel like, understand where you're wanting to put your effort and energy into. All right, that's what I have for you, beautiful Taurus. All right. It's a lovely read. Sorry it takes forever to reset these cards, guys. I apologize. All right, moving on to Gemini. All right, what do we got for the beautiful Geminis? All right, heading into the week of the 20th. All right, sorry, Gemini is about the lighting. I'm working on that. All right, what I have for the beautiful Geminis. Beautiful Geminis. Remember, this is for Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus. All right, what do we need to be working on this week? What do we need to be working on? All right. We'll take it. Forgiveness and grimness. With relationship and solitude. I feel like this is more about learning how to forgive, but also this grimness, not being so nice about it. You know, forgiveness is for you, it's for not for other people. And when you learn to forgive and let go, it kind of helps you heal instead of being in that angry state all the time and being mad. Well, why'd they do this? Why'd they do that? You know, you start to forgive and you start to move forward. You have relationship and solitude, so maybe you need to take a little time and a little balance between your own peace of mind and the people that you surround yourself with. Alright, what do we have for Geminis? What do we have for Geminis? Two of Pentacles with the Wheel of Fortune. One more, please. There we go. Seven of Pentacles. Temperance and Eight of Cups. I feel like you're kind of feeling like the Ten of Pentacles. everything was happening, everything was working out, it was beautiful, you were getting everything you want. You got a couple here, and the backgrounds, you know, it looks like they're about to get married. You got the dogs, the family, the life, the kids. I feel like something's coming in. You know, you're enjoying it, you feel like it's the right time, you know, you're trying to plan, and then maybe something happens, things come up. You got the Temperance with the Eight of Cups. I feel like this is like about you trying to find what makes you happy. What are you wanting out of life? You know, feeling like you're in that right position right now, and maybe you're working through something. Feel with the temperance on the back. It's more like you're working through your own healing. And you know, you don't have to have everything with somebody at the time. Like, you want to say the best success is, or the best revenge is success, is working on yourself, growing. And with the Temperance being here, or the Eight of Cups, it's all about trusting yourself to walk away from those things that no longer serve you. You know, maybe take some time out for yourself. Figure out what you really, really want with this Ten of Pentacles, where you want to make your life grow. With the Wheel of Fortune, I feel like it's saying it's time. It's time to make that happen. Put a plan into action with this Seven of Pentacles. You know, start planting those seeds. Start putting things up. Start making things work. But also have time with yourself. Be patient and walk towards the things you want, but walk away from the things you don't want. Oh, the Eight of Cups in this deck has the moon in it, which always tells me it's trust your judgment, trust your intuition, especially about something that you're wanting to transform, you're wanting to work, or things that you're wanting to end. But the ultimate goal is like, forgive whatever. You're going to have to forgive whatever happened, whether it's work or relationship, in order to get to that goal. You can't be holding on to that resentment and anger there. Okay? Spend some time with friends that really care about you, that get you into that good energy, and spend some time with yourself trying to work on the Seven of Pentacles over here. What do you want to build? What are you trying to establish? All right. We have the relationship cards for Gemini. What do we have for Gemini? Overall, it's really good. That, you know, and maybe you're so focused on what you want, especially with that Wheel of Fortune, you know, you want everything at this particular time, that you're not taking that time with that Seven of Pentacles to really build that stability for yourself. And the universe is also telling you, you know, have patience. You know, keep walking towards your goals and walking away from the ones that don't. But you have to let go of something and work on that forgiveness. You know, that Temperance also has that 1 foot in the water. Like, don't be having in and out. Just go for it. All right. What do we have? We have partner. With our combined skill sets, we're going to make an amazing team. So you've got something in there, whether that partner is a business partner, a soulmate partner, an actual partner, because I don't really feel breakup energy here. Just need to work on you, forgiving something. But I like that for you. Alright, what do we have for work, money, goals? I feel like when you start to forgive, I think this partner comes in. That's kind of where I'm at with that. Like, it's something that's good for you. But with that Wheel of Fortune, it's all about having that timing. Like, when it's meant to be there, it'll be there. All right, what do we have for money? What do we have for money? What do we have for money for Geminis? Yo, training. You still have some new skills to acquire before you can really advance to the stage of your career. I could be saying it too, is about that patience, you know, walking away from the things that don't work for you. Maybe the Seven of Pentacles is telling you about how different ways to do things. I like that. All right, one advice card for the Geminis. What do we have advice for the Geminis? All right. What do we have for Geminis? Knight of Pentacles. I like that. It's a beautiful night. Okay. The Knight of Pentacles is the one that always finishes the finish line, but it's slow, steady progress. So that's kind of what I'm feeling right here with the Temperance cards, the patience, walking towards stuff that align with you, focusing on a good, healthy balance of relationships and your own peace. But you have to learn how to forgive. Get out of that angry mode. All right, that's what I have for you, Geminis. I can't talk. Sorry, guys. Beautiful for you. All right, moving on to the Cancerians. My hand's going everywhere today. All right, Cancer. What do I have for Cancer? All right, moving on to the beautiful Cancerians. What do I have for Cancer? All right. Starting out the week of 4/20. All right, what are we working on this week, Cancer? Shuffle. All right, what do we have for Cancer? All right, what do we have for Cancer? Well, Gemini really want to speak out. Cancer's not piping up at all. There we go. Relationship and solitude. All right, with fear and anxiety on the back. Interesting. We focused on a relationship. We focused on some alone time, trying to get some peace. That fear, maybe it's causing you a little fear, a little anxiety, learning how to balance or navigate that. All right, let's see what's going on with this relationship and solitude. Neat. I think maybe you're taking time. I feel like it's kind of like a healthy balance into your relationships and your solitude at the time. You definitely enjoy your peace, but you also like being around those that you love. You know? I don't know what we got going on with this fear and anxiety over here, but if you are being fearful or you're being rotten with anxiety, I feel like you need to take a minute to breathe. It's kind of what that solitude is, you know, taking a minute to yourself. All right, what do we have, Cancerians? That one has come out. Chariot, your own energy. That Page of Wands. We're going to let it happen. The King of Cups. We got the Hierophant on the back with the Wheel of Fortune. I like that. All right. I feel like you're, with the Chariot here, you're in your own energy. Like you're making things happen. You're making moves. And you're focused on this Page of Wands here. I feel like it's dreams and ideas, but you might also be stuck in your head a little bit about it, and that's maybe where that fear and anxiety is. You're trying to balance out the emotions, but it's all about everything is moving forward. Everything is moving swiftly. You know, you're just trying to figure out where to create, or maybe you're taking baby steps to what you want to do, what direction you want to go in. And I think that's what this relationship in solitude and this fear and anxiety is about. Like, you're taking some time out for you to kind of figure out what you want to do, but at the same time, you are also focused on the relationships that you have and the supportiveness. But whatever driving directions, you're kind of stuck in your head about it. And I feel like you're starting to get a handle of it with this King of Cups. You're starting to be balanced. You're starting to be very emotionally in tuned with what you want, your dreams, your goals, because you got the Hierophant and the Wheel of Fortune on the bottom. I feel like this is telling you to have faith in what you are surrounding yourself by, because it is time. That Wheel of Fortune is starting to move for you. And I like that for you. You know, you're in your own energy, you're being creative, and you're starting to really, really understand your own emotions, your own accountability, and you're starting to put things into play. You have a very high, I've lost train of thought of my word that I want to use, but you have a very strong reflection into your own faith, spirituality, your family. Like, I feel like you're being highly supported, and the universe is telling you it's time. Like, with this Wheel of Fortune on here, you got the Devil behind that. I will mention that, Capricorn energy. But don't focus on the negative things. You know, keep moving ahead. But you got to let go of some of that fear and anxiety, and you got to focus on a good, healthy balance of relationship and your time. I feel like it's I just thought of it. Putting your time and energy, or a good work-life balance type situation. But I feel like you need to keep owning your own energy, keep being creative with this Page of Wands. Maybe pick your head up off the ground, because he's so focused on what's going on down here that he's not focused on what's going around. And I feel like that's starting to change. All right, what do we have for love for Cancer? What do we have for love? Cancerian love, what do we have for that? Right, Wanderlust. I have so much more I want to experience until... Let me try that again. I can't read today. I have so much more that I want to experience until I will be ready to settle down with you. And I feel kind of like that's what it's about too. This Page of Wands, really. Pages are kind of in and out energies to me. So maybe this is kind of figuring out which direction to go, where to put your ideas. Might be that solitude too. Alright, what do we have for money goals? Money goals for the Cancerians. I feel like it's telling me keep moving forward. Keep focusing. Understand you're pretty emotionally highly in tuned. Alright. There is still an essential piece of your puzzle that you have yet to discover. A missing piece of information must fall into place before you will know the next step. Discovery. You know, maybe that's what you're looking for with this Page of Wands, because he is focused on the ground, looking for something. So, I feel like everything will fall into place, especially with this Hierophant and the Wheel of Fortune on the back. But it's going to come in unexpected. Oh. Alright, what advice do we have? Might be a good time to focus on relationships when you have a chance, when you can. Alright, what do we have? Advice card for the beautiful Cancerians. What do we have for advice? I'm just going to pick one. Ooh, 5 of Wands. So this could be a couple different things. This could be conflict. This could be internal conflict with yourself. I feel like it's more internally than externally because I don't see swords over here. But at the same time, like, it's your own internal struggle that kind of meets up with that Page of Wands. Is kind of looking down at the ground, trying to look for something. So internally, I feel like you're kind of looking for that. You're focused on that fear and anxiety. Which direction do I go? How do I get there? Am I even moving? Yes, you are moving. The Chariot is moving you. Okay? And it's quick. It's swift. It's going to happen. Just have a little faith. All right. That's what I have for you beautiful Cancerians. All right. The Crabby is getting out of their shell. All right, what do we have for our Leos? Moving on to Leos now. All right. What are we working on, Leos? Beautiful Leos. What do we have for the Lions? All right. We have for the beautiful Lions of the deck. It says no more, so we know more. All right, reflection and maturing. It's good energy with action and reaction. So maybe we're focused on our past actions and how we react to them. We're starting to go a little bit further. Rejected. So it's quite possibly that you were rejected on the path, rejected, and then maybe you reacted badly, and you're starting to take a look at that. Like, how do we react? How do we mature from this? Okay. Rejection is protection, and every time you do get rejected, I feel like you do grow a little bit from it. Like, you mature a little bit. You work, but you also have to pay attention to your actions and your reactions. Not every situation deserves a reaction. All right, what do we have? Oh, 2 came out. We'll take them because that's what it is. All right, 5 of Wands with the 9 of Swords. You guys can't see that very well. Sorry, guys. All right. We have for Leos. Not saying much. All right, there we go. All right, we have the Lovers. And we have the Fool. All right. 2 Wands on the back with the 7 of Swords. If you're thinking about being deceitful, don't do it. Okay? Alright. I'm going to pull this 9 of Wands that's behind it. Alright. I feel like that's telling you, you know, there are other ways to do it. I don't know who needed to hear that, but that is not a good action to take. Alright. Rejection and maturing. I feel like you've had some kind of conflict here. Maybe I feel like more it's an internal conflict. You know, maybe something happened with a lover or a love choice, somebody you were with, and you're maybe jumped into it too fast. Another thing I kind of see is you're stuck in your head a lot. You're having a lot of internal conflict, and it's causing you a lot of stress, anxiety, maybe sleepless nights. Maybe you're getting a lot of headaches, maybe body aches, pains. I don't know why I said that, but we're going to go with it. And, you know, maybe you were rejected and you're constantly asking yourself, why? Why am I rejected? And I feel like this is kind of a choice about what do you want? You know, you have to put that out there. This is what I want. This, and you have to match that energy. And that's about that maturing part, you know, and how you react to things. What actions are you taking to those? With the Fool here, I feel like it's telling you, you know, take that leap of faith towards yourself, towards growing, towards maturing, you know, reflecting on your own actions and what you want, and go for that. With the Ten of Wands, with the Seven of Swords, and the Nine of Wands back here, I feel like this is also telling you, you know, you've been carrying maybe too much burden for so long, especially when it comes to deceptive people in your life, or you feel like you've been holding the burdens of somebody that's continuously lying to you, or maybe you're continuously lying to yourself, you know, and focus on the things ahead with this Nine of Wands. Like, he's guarded, he's willing to put the work in, but he's also looking ahead. He's looking at what he can see. You know, I feel like this is maybe from a past relationship energy, but it's more internally with this Five of Wands. I always feel like the Five of Wands is kind of like an internal card, you know, but get out of your head, you know, make a choice about what you want in your life, write it down, and stick to those choices, and take that leap of faith to move in the direction that you want to go. You know, maybe let go of the burdens of holding so much deceptive people in your energy. All right, what do I have for love? All right, love for Leos. What do I have for love for Leos? My beautiful Leos, the lovely lions. Let your roar shine. You know, get real with yourself. All right, what do I have for my Leos? Friend and career. Okay. All right, friend. We share a connection with a mutual friend or acquaintance. Might be a while before we get to meet because I am focused on my career right now, okay? And that's okay. That is totally okay. You know, I feel like you need to take some time to focus on what you're wanting. Alright, what do we have for money? What do we have for money for the Leos? Retreat. Sometimes taking a break is the best thing you can do to gain clarity and fresh perspective. That is awesome, especially if you got this Five of Wands with this Nine of Swords energy. Take some time, okay? Sometimes non-action is also just as good. You know, take some time to work on yourself. Take some time to figure out what you really want. You know, grow a little with this rejection and maturing card. Oh, I totally forgot to draw you an advice card. We'll get those put up and we'll get that done. I feel like maybe we might need a little bit more advice here for the Leos. We'll do a couple. All right. What advice do we have for Leos? What advice do we have for Leos? All right. Okay. Hermit. Look within. Trust yourself. And one more, please. There we go. Ooh. So, I'm not going to do this for everybody, but I'm going to do it for you, Leos, okay? feel like it's telling you, take a time to look within. You know, trust yourself, trust the spirit, trust your higher faith. Okay? Maybe you're so focused on the past that you need to make a change with that death card. Like, it's done, it's dead, it ended. There's something to grow, something to transform. Take it how it resonates. That's what I got for you, my beautiful Leos. I will be praying for you at this time. All right, moving on to my Virgos. My lovely Virgos. All right. Sorry, guys. All right. And again, I apologize about the lighting. I'm still working on that. All right, what do we have for the Virgos for the week of 4/20? What do we have for Virgos? Everything. All right. What do we have for Virgos? What are we working on this week? One more. All right, what do we have for Virgos? If it wants to come out, it will. What do we have for Virgos? Alright, what do we have for Virgos? One more. Virgo, what do we have for you? The week of 4/20, what are we working on? Alright. We have appreciation and greed. Interesting. With physical pain and emotional pain. So, I feel like this needs to be balanced out. Like, are you being greedy? Or are you starting to appreciate what is being given to you? With physical pain and emotional pain, that might just be if you went through some trauma, learning how to deal with it. And emotional pain does cause physical pain. Physical pain does cause emotional pain. So maybe that's something you need to work through. All right. All right, tell me about this appreciation and this greed card. Tell me about this appreciation and this greed card. Alright. What do we have for Virgos? I had a brain fart right there. I'm not taking all that. Sorry, guys. Okay, but we got the 3 of Wands focused on the path ahead. Alright, what do we have for Virgos? What do we have for Virgos? Nine of Swords coming up. I'm not taking all that. Wants to come out, it will. Alright, one more, please. There we go. That Page of Wands popping up again. Okay. Judgment and 5 of Cups on the back. 4 Cups. Interesting. So, the 3 of Wands is normally about setting sails. But I feel like in this deck, this is about looking in which direction you want to go. Like, they've already set sails. He's out there. He's looking at which direction he wants to go. He does have these lights illuminated, though. So he has an idea of where he wants to go. Okay? But you're obviously stuck in your head about it. And I think a lot of it has to do with appreciating what is in front of you. And not being so greedy that you're constantly keeping your head down. And not looking at the things that you have. With this 3 of Wands, 9 of Swords, and this Page of Swords here. You know, normally I would read the Page of Swords as a kind of creative. He's looking around, he's trying to get ideas. What's he thinking? He is ready to move. He's already on that foot, about to take step. You know, but I feel like this is kind of being about solace. You know, maybe you've seen somebody's ship sail and you're just kind of looking at them grow, and you know, maybe you're telling yourself, I want a little piece of that. when really you should just appreciate what you have and what's around you. You have the Judgment with the Five of Cups and the Four of Cups on the back. It's more about like saying, like, when's it gonna be my time? When am I gonna have this opportunity? You're kind of living a little bit in regret. You're not focused on, you know, what you could be growing yourself or what you could be making. I feel like you're kind of being emotionally irrational at the moment. You know, the Four of Cups about missing that opportunity. You saying, hey, it's my time, it's my time, it's my time. You know, you're watching people set sail, and maybe it's about you getting that boat, you setting sail, you know, trusting your intuition with these lights over here, having that idea pop in your head, but not being so stuck in your head that it's giving you anxiety, or that you're so focused on what you don't have, you know. And that's part of that appreciation and that greed, is you're focused on maybe what other people have versus what you have, and you need to start appreciating what you have. And especially with this Judgment card, is telling me, like, when's my time? When is it going to be my time? You know, followed up by Five of Cups and the Four of Cups. You know, it's that regret. It's that missed out on opportunities. When you're not focused on those opportunities, you're so focused on what somebody else has. But I mean, you can always change that. It's up to you. And if this is something to do with like the physical or the emotional part of that aspect, like, use that to help you grow as a person. All right. What love advice do we have for our Virgos? What do we have for Virgos? All right. What love advice do we have for Virgos? What love advice do we have for Virgo, please? Here we go. Separation and attraction. Separation. Even though we're not together right now, our separation is only temporary. We've already had so many lifetimes together, and we may have so many more to come. Attraction. You're going to see what you like when you meet me, because I'm exactly your type. So for those of you who may have lost somebody, and that's part of that emotional and that physical pain, and you're starting to learn how to appreciate that, and maybe you're getting out there and you're trying to look for somebody else, that is normal. It is very normal, and it is okay, you know. But I feel like maybe you need to work through some of that yourself. I don't see Three of Swords on here, so I don't know if it was a painful ending, or maybe something you've been going through a while and you just keep kind of going back into that energy. But take it for what it's worth, or how it resonates. Don't make it your story if it's not. It's very heavy energy, guys. All right, what do I have for work? Money, manifestations, careers, goals, dreams. What do I have for Virgos? What do I have for Virgos? Focus. It's a difficult time to be productive when your energy is scattered in so many different directions. See, that's kind of partly what this is. So maybe you need to spend some time focusing. You know, focus on what you want, getting out of your head about it, and taking that step forward. You know, learning how to appreciate what you have instead of focusing on what others have. Like I said, if this is a breakup, like, you start focusing on the things that you do have and appreciating those, you'd be surprised how, like, things really change for you. All right, what advice do I have for Virgos at this time? What advice do I have for Virgos? Oh, 2 came out, so I guess we'll take it. We have the Hermit. Look within to see what you want to build for yourself. That's what I'm getting off of that. Like, really take that deep dive in and spend some time with yourself and really figure out what you want to build. All right, that's what I have for you beautiful Virgos out there. I hope all is well. I hope you are going to start feeling better. I do appreciate your time, effort, and your energy to come today. Oh, that's what I have for Virgos. All right, moving on to Libras. All right, moving on to Libras. What do I have for my beautiful Libras? My amazing Libras over here. What do I have for those? For the week of 4/20. And I've told every sign, so I'm sorry about the awful light over here in the corner. I'm trying to work on that. I'm still working on my office, so please bear with me. What do I have for the beautiful Libras? Relaxation and activation. I like that. That is good energy with loneliness and connection on the bottom. All right. I feel like this is maybe you spending some time to relax. Maybe finding a particular project to activate. I feel this is more about you relaxing and you kind of activating your own inner lights. I don't know if you can see this card very well, but she's just kind of meditating in and she's kind of getting active within her mind. I feel like that's what it's about. I don't know why, but I am separating the energy out again. It's what I was called to do. Alright, loneliness and connection on the back. Maybe that's kind of why we're sitting here in meditation mode. You know, maybe we're feeling a little lonely and we're trying to bring in some kind of connection. Or maybe whatever connection we got going on, maybe it's not, maybe it is making us feel lonely. Alright, what do we have for the Libras? Got the 3 of Cups with this 9 of Swords is loving to come out today, guys. Alright, 3 of Cups with the 9 of Wands. Interesting. Alright, 5 of Wands with the Judgment in the back. Got here 7 of Wands. Interesting. I like it. Okay. Relaxation and activation. Taking that time out to kind of, I feel like activating your own third eye, like you're just learning how to be very self-aware and being open, especially if there is some kind of situation with the 3 of Cups here, like a celebration. I wouldn't really say, I don't feel like it's a celebration right now. I feel like it's more of, I feel like something happened that shouldn't have been happening with this 3 of Cups here. You know, you got 2 ladies drinking with 1 dude here, so maybe it was a situation that you got put in that has really got you in your head, or maybe this is you. This could be somebody else. This could be even a job situation. I'll see a lot of Pentacles today, though. And this 9 of Wands, you're trying to look forward. You're trying to keep chugging along, but you're having that internal battle. But I think you're starting to come right with yourself. You're starting to make that judgment call with the Judgment on the back. Like, what's okay, what's not okay. But whatever this situation is, this 3 of Cups situation, you know, it's definitely, you're definitely in your head about it. A lot of sleepless nights. Maybe you've got your own thoughts. talking to you and you're trying to find some kind of course or action to get out of that, and taking that time to really relax and sit with your own thoughts a little bit, it really does help. But I mean, it's also telling you, you need to get out there to get out of your head. Go out, see the world, make those changes, keep trucking forward, you know, stay out of conflict, I'm feeling stay out of your own way. That's what I'm feeling. Sorry, guys. I might have to burn some sage after the Virgo read over here. But I definitely see that some kind of third party energy has you stuck in your head and you're trying to get out of it. And the universe is telling you, take a minute, relax, get real with yourself, and start activating your own inside. You know, if you are feeling loneliness and you do want a connection, do it with people you trust, people you can work with. All right, what do we have for love for the beautiful Libras? Lessons that came out quick. There are still lessons I have to learn before I can be ready for you. And that's part of that third party energy over here. That's lesson. But I feel like you're saying no. Like with this judgment card, I feel like it's boundaries being put down, even though it's got you a little bit in your head. Alright, what do we have for career money? What do we have for this career and money for Libras? I feel like this was a super quick read. Alright, career and money for my beautiful Libras. Laziness. Interesting. Your dreams are so much bigger than your efforts to achieve them. If you want to accomplish great things, you'll have to try harder. And that, I feel like that's about putting that work and effort in, especially with that relaxation and that activation card, is taking time to sit down and figuring out what you want to do, and then kind of putting that effort and that work into it. Okay. All right. What advice do we have for the lovely Libras? What advice do we have for Libras? One more. Thank you. All right. What do we have for Libras? The Tower. Ooh, chaos. Structure. I feel like this is your advice is telling you that everything's coming to an end. Everything's crashing down. Everything's going to get chaotic. And it's usually calm right after the storm. So maybe it is time to shake things up. Maybe it's the thought process. Maybe it's how you work, getting up, doing something, creating something new. But that lightning bolt over here is knocking this entire building down, and you have people flying out of it. Like, to me, it's also knocking something down that wasn't felt right. Like it had a really crappy foundation, and you need to tear it all down and start over and build it brick by brick, piece by piece, but finding someone or something that will build something strongly with you, and if there becomes a crack in it again, like, they'll go in and help you fix it. It's not going to be like, I have to do it on my own type of energy or stuff like that. But definitely tearing down a foundation and rebuilding. That is your advice. All right, that's what I have for you, beautiful Libras. All right, moving on to Scorpios. What do I have for my beautiful Scorpios? All right, what do I have for my lovely Scorpios? Scorpios. Alright. Alright. What are we working on, Scorpios, for the week of 420? Alright. What do we have going into the week of 420? One more. Behavior and interpretation with self-love and self-loathing on the back. Interesting. All right. Behavior and interpretation. It's a really pretty card, by the way. Little Malorina. I think you're defining on how you interpret your own behavior or how you're interpreting somebody else's behavior. Or maybe you need to take a look on how you interpret your own behavior. With self-love and self-loathing on the back, I feel like this is a very unhealthy balance of your own self-loathing and your self-love, and maybe you need to give yourself a little bit more self-love. You know, self-loathing is not very healthy for you, but it's also about that behavior. You know, what are you willing to give yourself? What are you willing to cut out? How are you interpreting that? Like, I'm trying to think of a better example. Like, say you have an argument with somebody, or you are just annoyed by a situation. Like, how are you going to behave to that, and how is somebody else going to interpret that behavior? And is it more in a self-loathing move, or is it more going to be self-love? And are you going to give good feedback, bad feedback, or like, because it's a reflection of how you feel. All right. I hope you understood that. All right. What do we have for the beautiful Scorpios? Tell me about these Scorpios. We have the Fool with the Nine of Cups that came up. I will take it. All right. What do we have for... Okay. Cool. Nine of Pentacles and the King of Swords. Four of Wands and the Hangman. I feel like the universe right now is telling you to take a leap of faith, especially things that make you happy, that make you really content. Do not overdrink or overconsume, whatever that is. You could overconsume in TV, you can overconsume in hobbies, stuff like that. Maybe overconsumed with work, finances. There hasn't really been a whole lot of finance reads on this, but yeah, it's what it is. With this Nine of Pentacles, I feel like you're kind of moving in your own right. You're slowly trying to build stuff, especially when it comes to your Nine of Cups, those things that your wish fulfillments is what the Nine of Cups is. Like, getting the things that you want, moving in that direction, especially with the Nine of Pentacles facing this Nine of Cups. Like, he's focused on what makes him happy. And you got the Fool facing them. So, what kind of facing? He is looking back a little. I don't know if you can see him very well. Oh, but he is about to make that leap of faith. You know, he's looking back one last time and then kind of going for it. And with that King of Swords being in here, it's about you knowing what you want, how to achieve it, and putting that into the universe. Being very... I feel like the king is also like a master of his words. Like, he knows how to speak. You got the Four of Wands and the Hangman. You know, if you're focused on family celebrations right now. You know, I feel like the hangman is telling you, you know, looking at different perspectives on celebrating, you know, or to have those celebrations, or just kind of have the stillness with them, with this hangman. The hangman is always kind of still, looking around, trying to get something from a different perspective. He's also upside down, so he sees and views the world from a different manner. So maybe it's seeing and how you celebrate with your community, your, or how you bring that celebration into reality from a different view or a different perspective. But your behavior and how people interpret that behavior is part of that. Like how to, I'm not saying this right. Give me 2 seconds, guys. Okay, how does your behavior justify how you want your reality to be? So I feel like that's why that behavior card is here. It's also about taking that action with that Fool card. You know, you have dreams, you have goals, you have ambitions. Go for them. All right? It may be slow and steady pace, but that's okay. You know, it's good. Just speak it into fruition with this King of Swords. I was thinking about the tortoise and the hare, like slow and steady wins the race. You know, but keep saying those goals. The Knight of Swords, I also feel, or the King of Swords. I said the Knight of Swords. So the King of Swords, I also feel, is he does know how to talk to people. He knows how to talk to people well. He also knows how to get his point across. He's very stern. He's very strong. You know, and maybe change the view on how you celebrate, how you, I keep saying celebrate, but I feel like it's more about your home life. Have a different perspective, have different views and what you're trying to create. Also bring that energy in of like being happy. All right, that's what I got for you guys. Take it, leave it. That's what it is. All right, what do we have for love messages for my beautiful Scorpios? What do we have for my love messages from my beautiful Scorpios? All right. My love messages for those of you who want to hear love messages. All right. What do I have for my beautiful Scorpios? All right. There we go. Searching. I am not ready to be with you yet because I'm still searching for myself. I don't know who I am yet. All right. No idea what that's about, but whoever needs to hear it. I don't feel like it really fits with the read, but yeah, it's for somebody. All right, what do we have for career? What do we have for career? No. All right, I'll take it. Denial. Are you refusing to face reality about some aspect of your financial life? I mean, that's possible. All right, we got one advice card coming. I feel like maybe these go hand in hand. And that denial is maybe you're overspending lately and you're kind of in denial. You know, maybe you have a wife that overspends. It's possible. Oh. All All right. What advice card? Or husband. I could say husband. Significant other, child. All options. But keep an eye on your financial life right now. All right. What advice do we have for Scorpios? The devil. Ooh. The Capricorn energy. Capricorn's all about money too. So I feel like that's part of it too. You know, maybe stay away from toxic spending habits, maybe stay away from toxic relationships, toxic behavior. Spend less time being chained up to your own thoughts, your own uh like break free from that. You know, but I feel like the advice is stay away from toxicity. Any kind of negativity, anything that's going to bring you down, anything that's going to, I feel like, be unpositive. I don't even know if that's a word, but we're going to go with it. All right, my beautiful Scorpios, that's what I have for you guys. All right, moving on to my Sagittarius. All right, what do I have for my beautiful Sagittarius? All right, what do I have for the Saggies? My beautiful Sagittarius. What do we have for you guys? Beginning of the week, 420. I know me shuffling the cards on the table is really loud, so I apologize. All right, what do I have for my Saggies? All right, what do we need to work on? All right, what are we working on? The week of 420. What are we working on? Maybe you're hungry. I'm starving. All right, there we go. Passion and purpose. With rejection and maturing on the bottom. All right. Rejection is protection. Whoever needs to hear that. So passion and purpose. All right. Where we put our passion and what's our purpose. Our focus. And I feel like if you've been recently rejected, take that and learn from it. All right. How can it help you grow? All right. Passion and purpose. What do we have for our Sagittarius? I feel like this is you kind of finding your time to see what your purpose is and where your passion lies. All right, what do we have for Sagittarius? What do we have for Saggies? We have the Empress. A little time to nurture yourself, huh? All right. We have the Four of Cups. Feel like maybe we missed out on something? All right, what do we have? There we go. We have the Five of Swords. I was wondering when that was going to rear its head. Three of Wands and the Moon on the back. All right, I feel like right now you're kind of taking the time to nurture something, nurture you with this Empress. It's all about your needs, trusting yourself, you know, kind of taking that time out. She's laying on a bed right here, just kind of relaxing. She's got the fire in her hands. It's like, what drives me? I feel like that's where that passion is. But maybe you're taking a little time to kind of figure out what your purpose is. Like, you know what your passion is, but what purpose do you have? And you're so focused on like what's going on down here that you're not looking elsewhere. You see that little cup hiding up in the cubby hole? Oh. And you know, I mean, maybe this is causing some conflict outside of what you want to do, or maybe there's some fighting going on, and that's kind of what that rejection's about. But with the, you have 3 of Wands and the Moon as the bottom of the deck energy. I think you're focused on like what lies beneath. Like, you got the 3 of Wands here, which is normally about setting sails. It's kind of what comes to mind. But you're focused on this moon. He's got that little glass here, and he's focused on what he cannot see. That's okay. You know, sometimes traveling into that unknown is very kind of scary, but you are definitely in your zone of the things I want, just trying to figure out what your purpose, how to move, and trying to maybe focusing so much on just this idea of things that you're not focused on what the universe is trying to give you. And that is starting to cause a little bit of conflict, you know? And you might just be focused on like that path being unknown, but you know, the universe is lighting up this path, and this right here. See, I'm backwards. See, he is lighting up a way for you to move. So I feel like it's time for you to follow your own light. I don't know, looks good for you, Cappies, but don't be so focused down here that you're missing out on opportunities. I feel like there's a card that is backwards, so I have to fix this really fast. There we go. Sorry, guys. Here's another one. I don't know what happened. Alright. Let's try this again. Alright. I feel like this Empress is also kind of allowing you to heal if there was something that you were rejected with. Could be a job, could be love, could be pretty much anything, any type of rejection. That Empress is allowing you to kind of sit back, lay back, take that time for yourself, nurture yourself, see what ignites your fire over here. But like I said, don't spend too much time focused on the shoulda, woulda, couldas, and, you know, maybe look up every once in a while. And when you do that stuff, there's always tend to be fights. Move past them. It's okay. You know, embrace the unknown. Alright, what do I have for my Cappies? What love messages do I have for Cappies this week? Creativity. I'm excited to celebrate with you and curious to see what we create. The two creative souls join forces, and the results can be profoundly beautiful and rewarding. And maybe that's what you need to do. Find somebody that fits into that zone with you. You know, that might be that missed opportunity that you're not seeking. All right. What do we have for career messages for the Cappies? What do we have for career messages? Career. What do we have for career? Career, money, abundance, stability. What do we have? We have fear of failure. Interesting. That could be that rejection, too, that we're feeling. Your fear of failure can be very crippling, especially when it keeps you from trying. And there's that 4 of Cups energy and that 5 of Swords. You know, and I think the universe is telling you with that 3 of Wands, like, embrace that unknown. Go into it. All right? Look at it and drive on fiercely. You know? And I feel like intuitively you know this. All right. What advice do we have for the Cappies? The beautiful Cappies. What do we have for the Cappies? What advice do we have? Okay, I fell out. Ooh. The Ten of Wands. Let go of that burden that you've been carrying. Like, I feel like that's more like your own burdens. And if you are carrying somebody else's burdens, I think the universe is telling you it's time to drop those burdens. Those are not yours to carry anymore. Okay? Get creative. Find your passion. Find your purpose. Trust yourself. Look at your opportunities. You know, don't miss out because you're so focused on something. And, you know, stand your ground with this Five of Swords. Okay? That Three of Wands and the Moon, like, go into the unknown. It's okay. All right, that's what I have for you, beautiful Capricorns. Moving on. Did I do Cappies? Maybe that was meant for part of Cappy. That was a Sag read. Well, Sagittarius, if you have a Capricorn placement, that is definitely meant for you. But that was for Saggies. We are now moving on to our Capricorns. I apologize, Sagittarius. But I'm not going to change the read. You are meant to hear it. You are going to hear it. All right, going on to my lovely Cappies. I don't know why I was feeling that. Sorry, guys. All right. Going on to my Capricorns. Yeah. I feel like that was a beautiful last read. So maybe Capricorns need to hear it as well as the Sagittarius. Well, that came out fast. Boundaries and respect. All right. With freedom and sacrifice. It's all about setting your boundaries, having people respect them, or feeling like if you do set boundaries, like, is somebody respecting them? Do you feel like they're respecting them? Or are you not respecting somebody else's boundaries? Okay, you got freedom and sacrifice. What are you willing to give and what are you not willing to give? All right. All right, what do we have for the Capricorns? What do we have for Cappies? All right, what do we have for the Cappies? And Cappies again, if you don't feel like you resonate with this one, maybe check out the Sagittarius read because I feel like I got you guys a little mixed up. We got the Five of Cups, feeling about the same energy there. All right, feeling regret. Okay, we have the Queen of Swords. What else do we have for Cappies? And we have the Lovers with the Queen of Pentacles and the Eight of Swords on the bottom. Interesting. Or maybe Saggies need to watch this read. With that, I feel like right now you're focused on your own regret. Coulda, shoulda, woulda, coulda type of energy. You're kind of slumped over. You're drinking that healthy dish of regret instead of looking up at the possibilities. You know, I feel like you're learning. I feel like learning. I feel like there's more regret about how you said things, how things came out. This is a lot about how you communicated. Maybe you crossed somebody's boundaries and you're regretting it. Maybe somebody crossed your boundaries and maybe they're feeling that regret. But this is definitely, I feel like, a choice in what direction you want to go, what you're okay with, what you're not okay with. And a lot of it has to do with feeling respected or disrespected, and whether or not you want to give to it or whether you don't want to give to it, especially with the freedom and the sacrifice being here. You have the Queen of Pentacles on the bottom with the Eight of Swords. I feel like the universe is telling you now it's time to put that effort and energy into you, and maybe get out of your head with it. With the Eight of Swords, you can untie yourself at any time and get out of your own prison. You know, the Eight of Swords, she can just walk away. Like, she's not fully tied up. She has the freedom to move. She chooses to stay. You know, and the universe is telling you to, maybe you need to flatter yourself this span. You know, Death card sitting under that. You know, maybe it's time to let something go and move on. You know, the Queen of Swords to me is all about setting those boundaries, setting those rules, or upending them. But I feel like she's not going to be focusing on this regret anymore. Her back is turned towards it. And she's focusing on this choice that she has to make with the Lovers card. You know, the Lovers is about love and it's about big love, but it's also about a choice. You know, what direction I want to go, how do I want to be? Do I want to start taking care of myself? Do I want to be stuck in my own head? I mean, that's your call. But you set those boundaries. You can set boundaries for yourself as well as other people. You know, and I think that's kind of what you're dealing with right now. Oh, it's not a bad energy. It's just, I feel like it's kind of a neutral energy. You have the power to decide where you want to go, and you're not trying to focus on the reset. You're not trying to focus on the, what's the word I'm looking for? Regret or whatever happened back here, whatever this situation is for you. And you're trying to focus on the choices ahead. But I feel like your biggest choice right now is, are you going to take care of yourself or are you going to stay stuck in your head? And maybe those boundaries and that respect is for you. Are you setting boundaries with yourself, especially when it comes with your time, your effort, or your energy? All right. We're going to get a love card. Let's see where we're at with love. All right. What love advice do we have for the Cappies? What love advice do we have for the Cappies? What love advice do we have for the beautiful Capricorns? We have aware. I've worked hard on becoming the best version of myself. I'm ready for a healthy relationship and a soulmate. And I feel that's partly kind of what I'm feeling here too, especially with this Queen of Swords, with her back turned against this Five of Cups. Like, I don't want to feel that way anymore. I'm focused on this now. Oh. And I feel like you are putting that work in. You know, that Eight of Swords here, I feel like maybe getting yourself out of your own way, walking out of your own prison. You know, nobody's holding you there but you. So it's up to you. All right. What do we have for money, finance, abundance, stability for the Capricorns? We have innovate. With the right inspiration, you can bring a novel approach to almost anything. You can innovate and contribute towards making the world a better place. And I feel like that's kind of what this Queen of Swords with this Queen of Pentacles is. It's about saying what you want and then bringing that action. The Queen of Pentacles, she knows how to get what she wants. She's very nurturing. She's very creative. But she knows how to work. So that's what I have for you guys. One advice card before you guys leave me here. All right, what do we have for the Capricorn advice? One advice card. What do we have? All right, that came out. Nine of Wands. All right, this is about keep going, keep working, Keep striving for what you want, how you want to be, who you want to be, where you want to put your time, effort, and energy, how you're going to focus that, but keep going. So that's my advice for you guys. Just keep going in the right direction and stay out of this 8 of Swords energy over here, okay? What I have for the beautiful Capricorns, you know, if Sagittarius is watching, maybe this is something for you also. All right, moving on to the Aquarius. All right, what do I have for my lovely Aquarius? All right, what are we working on this week of 420? My beautiful Aquarius. What do we have for the lovely Aquarius over here? The beautiful water carriers. All right, what are we working on this week? All right, the week of 420. What do we got? We have solution and problems. Maybe working through something. All right, passion and purpose. I like that. All right. So maybe we got a problem that arises, or we're trying to find solutions to problems that are coming up. Maybe kind of finding some drive and some purpose somewhere. You know, maybe we're a teacher or educator, counselor, goal-oriented, I feel like. All right, what do we have for Aquarius? You know, or maybe we're trying to teach our kids something. All right, what do we have for Aquarius? We have the Chariots, fast with movement. Something's moving. All right, what do we have for Aquarius, please? We have the Three of Pentacles, working towards something. They're coming out at the same time, so we'll let you have it. With the Star and the Two of Cups. Okay, I like this. It's a beautiful read. All right, well, I feel like the universe is starting to make things move for you. Starting to come in fast, swift, especially when it comes to work and collaborations. You know, I feel like what that solution and those problems are is like you're starting to find solutions to the problems that have been coming, you know, and you're kind of devoted to it with this passion and your purpose, like what's making it drawn to you. And a lot of it is about new beginnings, especially when it comes to being happy or having happiness in your surrounding areas. You know, the Ace of Pentacles is about starting something new but putting it on a solid ground, having a very strong foundation in something. You know, I feel like you've been healing from maybe a past breakup, past relationship that you were really, really happy with. And maybe it's time to start moving forward, start building that life that you want, especially with this Ace of Pentacles and the Sun card. You know, focusing on how to build your own happiness, how to build your own strength. But bottom of the deck is the Star, the Two of Cups. You know, I feel like that is healing from maybe there was a friend, or it was a relationship, a coworker, or something that wasn't quite there, and you're starting to heal from that now. But the universe is telling you it's time to move, it's time to go forward. It's going to come in, it's going to come quick, and it's time to work together with somebody. You know, maybe this is a team, maybe this is with your friends, your colleagues, and find some solutions to whatever problem you have been going through. You know, I see new beginnings, stronger foundations, you know, and we do have the Sun card here. It is the happiest card in the deck. So I love that. It's a beautiful couple around sunflowers, and they always say that sunflowers always face the sun. I don't know if that's actually true or not, but I kind of like the quote, because I kind of feel like that's going to be your energy this week, is healing and facing the sun and being happy and putting your footwork into what's going to make you grow into your passions and your purposes. But right now, you're kind of, the universe is helping you move along, work through with the Chariot about whatever situation you've been having problems with. And it's going to bring in the right people for you with this Three of Pentacles. People that work well, that help you heal, what kind of community you're going to be in. I like that for you. All right, we're going to get a love card. Not a super fast read, but a really pretty read. I think I said that wrong, but that's all right. I don't know if you've seen this star card, but she's just up here just living it. She's looking beautiful. I'm trying to get it to where the glare's not on there. But she's just trusting herself. She's very serene, very calm, very structured, just very poised. And I really like that. So I feel like that's the kind of energy you're in right now. All right. What love advice do we have for the Aquarius? What love advice do we have for Aquarius? All right. We have travel. I want to experience the world with you. We have so much to explore. You know, maybe that's what that Chariot is about, traveling, getting out, going somewhere, you know. Maybe you're trying to work out the details in order to do that. But, you know, the Chariot does speak of travel. Oh, and maybe that's what you need to do. Get out and travel. Find your community. You know, maybe you need to move somewhere new. Put a foundation somewhere new. All right, what do we have for money, foundations, abundance, financial situations for Aquarius? Oh, that already came out. Sorry, guys. Fear of failure. Your fear of failure can be crippling, especially when it keeps you from even trying. And that might be your problem right there, is your fear of failure. So, I mean, everybody kind of has a fear of failure. It happens. It is what it is. But if you fail, you learn. Okay? Almost no one picks up something and knows how to do it the first time. Okay? It takes practice. It takes work. It takes effort. So let go of that fear. And maybe that fear is the problem that you're in to moving towards your purpose and your passion, or even creating a solution. But, you know, maybe travel. Go on a vacation. Go on vacation with people you care about. Maybe you're going on a work retreat, you know, and see where you can build that makes you happy, you know. Love yourself. Love your healing. All right. I got one advice card for you. What do we have for Aquarius? What do we have for the Aquarius? All right. One advice for... I can't talk today. One advice card. There we go. The Hermit. In reverse. We're going to take it. Get out of your shell. Get out. Go do things. Travel. See the world. Live life. Get with people who fit your ideas, your goals. Get out. Do things. All right? That's my advice. Is get out of your comfort zone. Is what I'm feeling. So, take it or leave it. That's what I got for you. All right. Thank you, Aquarius, for being here. I appreciate your time, effort, and your energy. Moving on to Pisces. All right. Moving on to the beautiful Pisces. I hope you guys are having a wonderful day. All right. What do we have for Pisces? The beautiful Pisces. All right. What are we working on this week? All right. What do we have for Pisces? All right. The week of 420. What do we have for the beautiful Pisces? What do we have for Pisces? What do we have for the Pisces? Beautiful Pisces of the zodiac. Appreciation and greed. I think we got that for Gemini also. I could be wrong. All right. We have advice and listen. Okay. All right, Pisces, are we not appreciating what we have? So focused on what we want at this time, and maybe we need to sit down and listen to whatever advice we're hearing. Maybe not. Sometimes advice is bad. But feel with this advice and listen card is that we need to maybe really, really listen to the advice that we're getting. Like, is it really good for us? Is it really bad for us? That type of energy. And with this appreciation and greed is, I feel like it's always about appreciating what you have and not being, well, they have this, but I don't type of energy. So I want this. All right. What do we got for Pisces? What do we have for Pisces? I don't know what that is, so we'll flip it over here in a minute. What do we have for Pisces? What do we have for Pisces? King of Swords. What do we have for Pisces? All right. Knight of Wands. All right. Nine of Pentacles on the bottom with the Queen of Pentacles. Focused on your money. I feel like on the bottom of the deck, the bottom energy, you're focused on how to build, where to go, and what you're really striving for with this Queen of Pentacles. And the Queen of Pentacles knows how to get it, so you'll get there. We have the Six of Wands. This is about wanting a victory. And I think that ties into this appreciation and this greed card about appreciating what you have. And that tends to bring in the victories within yourself, you know, stating what you want, how to get there, doing, you know, researching, looking it up. He's got a book in his hand. I'm really drawn to this book in the reading. But it's about looking into it and going after what you want with this Knight of Wands. Like, he's driven, he's moving forward, he's taking those steps, he's got his wand out, he's looking, he's like, I got a direction, I'm headed toward it. And I think it's about appreciating that, appreciating the work and the effort that you're putting into what you're trying to build, you know. You're focused on your goals, your victories, your wins, you know. You're setting those standards and those rules you want for yourself, especially with that Knight of Wands here, and you're focused on your passion and what drives you. And I love having the Knight of Pentacles on the back because, you know, he does finish the line. You know, it's a steady race, but he gets there, and you're focused on taking care of yourself, your needs, your wants, your goals. But with this greed also being here is like, don't focus on what other people have. Focus on your victories, your wins, your ambitions. You know, I feel like the King of Swords is kind of like a boss man in his own right. He's really good with words. He knows how to speak. He's a good talker. You could be a teacher. You could be a lecturer. You could be really anything that uses their voice. But he speaks his thoughts into what he wants. And then he makes that action happen. And then that Queen of Pentacles here, it's like you're saying, this is what I want. It's out there. I'm going to grow. Now I'm going to just relax. She's got that fan. She's kind of waving her face. She knows. She takes care of herself. It's good energy. I like that. 2 came out, so we're going to take it. Intuition. Trust your intuition for it knows the way to me. When you listen closely, love whispers become clear. Network. There is a potential for our paths to cross in a workplace through professional endeavors. All right, that's your love week, and that is highly possible. You know, you be proud of your accomplishments. Be true to yourself. Follow your passions, your drive. Keep working towards it, and you never know. Things fall into place. Trust yourself. All right. What do we have for career, money, Those just popped out while I was talking, so I just did it. Alright, career, money. Careers, money, ambitions, goals, dreams, stableness. What do we have for Pisces? The lovely Pisces. It's a really good read, actually. I really like this Victories card being forefront. It's like, yes, I'm taking charge. I know what I want. I know where I'm going. I'm putting it down. I'm very passionate about it, and I'm going to put the work and effort, and then I'm going to sit back and just enjoy the spoils. That's kind of what I'm feeling. That's what this energy is. But it all starts with appreciating what you have, you know. And if you are looking for love, trust your judgment, trust your intuition. You never know. You might find something that crosses your path as you're going through this. Teacher, you have a natural ability to impact knowledge and guide others towards inner light. And I was saying that earlier with this King of Swords. Like, maybe what you're doing is you're teaching, or, you know, and teaching can be all aspects. You don't actually physically have to be a teacher, but you can be a trainer, you can be a counselor, a psychologist, you know, you can have your own channel, however that works for you. And that's also about that listening and advice, you know. I feel like right now, maybe you're putting advice out and you're learning how to listen to some, right? But I love that for you. That is beautiful, beautiful energy. Oh. And I feel like it is all natural. It's kind of like a flow we got going on over here. I like it. All right, what advice card do we have for Pisces going into this week? What advice do we have? What advice do we have for Pisces? All right, what do we got? All right. All right, don't be so focused on the past. All right. This is kind of, they call it the past card, the childlike card, the innocence card. I feel like having, let me say this right. Children have an innocence about them. The way they think, the way they process, the way they see the world. So maybe that's what the universe is also telling you with this appreciation and this greed. You know, how are you looking at it through an innocence? Are you looking at it through greed? Are you heeding what you say or heeding what you hear? But I feel like it's having an innocence is what I'm feeling. You know, an innocent perspective. Be open minded, be clear, be concise, but don't be afraid to be who you are. You know, maybe you're playful, maybe you're energetic. I don't really feel like this is like past energy, but more playful, energetic energy. And have fun while you're doing it. Like, having victories is fun. Celebrate them. All right, that's what I have for you, Pisces. Thank you for coming to the channel. If you like, please like, share, and subscribe. If you don't, that's all well too. I hope you guys have an amazing day, and thank you for joining me today. All right, bye.